Hi, I'm Jena Irene, and you're watching TVLine.com.
You are my candy girl.
Reality Check is super stoked to have Jena Irene with us today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm gonna be grinning like an idiot through the whole thing. Let's talk about your whole idol journey. Let's start with, you began this journey as high school student by day, future pop star by night. What made you decide that this was your year to audition?
I was kind of going through a rough point. I just quit my band, and I really wasn't doing anything at the time except working at Coney Island like 5-6 days a week. I had just turned 17, and my friend sent me this text, and she's like, why don't you just try out for American Idol? They're coming to Detroit, and they haven't been back for auditions in Detroit for like 11 years. So I said, okay, I have nothing to lose, and I went to the open call audition, and there was like 8,000 registrants. I was like, what am I doing here? And I did not think it was gonna escalate to this.
The skies of your love remind me of us.
You picked Rolling in the Deep. The judges have this lengthy conversation about like, do you have a speech impediment?
At first, it almost sounded like a little bit of a speech impediment, which is fine.
I was blanking out. I really don't remember the audition because I was so nervous, and I had never been that close to celebrities before. I'd always sing like that. And I think just because it's so different, some people are gonna like it and some people aren't gonna like it. I mean, you can't please everyone.
I can't help feeling we could have had it all.
So how you phrase songs and the way you pronounce words is, there's no put on. It's just how things come out of you.
It's just how I've always sang. And especially when I started writing my own songs and not singing cover songs, because, when you sing cover songs as a little girl, especially me, I would always try and be like Christina Aguilera.
Okay.
I would always try and sound like her, and then I started writing my own songs, and that's what came out.
You had my heart inside of your hands.
That's a good lead into my next question, Unbreakable Me. You decided to do that in Hollywood Week.
No, it's not enough.
Tell me, first of all, about writing it, and then second of all, about performing it there in that setting.
I wrote it when I was 16. I just turned 16. And being in high school, there's a lot of girls who suffer from anorexia and bulimia. And that's definitely not a topic that most 16-year-olds write about. They mostly write about like heartbreak and whatnot, just the normal stuff. But I had written songs about that before, but it was just all the same and all pretty boring to me. So, what inspired me was a specific story where this girl was going through a hard time, and she got through it. And that really inspired me. And even though I really didn't talk to her that much, and frankly, she was kind of not that nice to me, her story still inspired me. After I got started, it took me maybe like 2 hours to write the whole thing. I saw the list of the songs that the band knew, and I knew nothing.
Okay.
Nothing by heart. And then there was the option of singing original stuff, but they kind of decided against that. This could be your only chance with the band, so you should take it. And working with Ricky, I played the song, and he's like, all right, I like it. Just shorten it down to like a minute and then play it for the judges.
There is nowhere to turn to alone.
Did you write the piano line first, or do you write the lyrics first? What is your writing process?
It depends on the song. Like with Unbreakable Me, I wrote the piano line first, and I had that for a good 2-3 weeks before I started writing lyrics.
You go into the live shows being labeled the sleeper.
Yeah.
You know what they call you? You know what your nickname is? The Sleeper.
You do paint it black.
Yeah.
It was definitely not your best performance.
No.
What happened with that?
Rush Week, I just didn't like it at all.
This is Jena Irene.
And once my name was called, oh my God, I'm in top 10 girls. And then you had to sing for top 5 girls. Right then. So I was like, holy crap.
I have to turn my head until my darkness goes.
I was just thinking about it the whole time, and it wasn't natural at all. And I love the Rolling Stones, and I've sang it so many times better in my room. It was so awesome. I was like, oh my God, it's gonna be so great. And then I got on stage, I'm like, oh.
We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back,
What was it like having to do your own song for the wild card?
I remember Ryan, while we were in commercial, right when I was about to sing, he was like rubbing my shoulders. He's like, are you nervous? I'm like, I'm crapping my pants right now.
back with you live on Idol.
Right when I started playing, I just calmed myself. This is my song. I'm here for a reason, and I was the first wild card to get picked to sing. So obviously there was a reason that they wanted me there. So I just took a deep breath and did my thing.
You did the scientist for top 13 week.
They didn't show it in the audition, but I had to sing 2 songs for the audition, and one of them was The Scientist.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, I can just sing The Scientist. It ended up being an iffy song just because it is Coldplay, and Coldplay is such a monumental band. It was a challenge, but I had sung the song. It was one of my first songs that I learned on piano, so I was definitely comfortable with it, but still I was so nervous for that show, and it didn't come across the way I wanted it to.
Nobody said it was easy.
So you get to top 12 week, you land in the bottom 3 again. After
Exactly.
Suddenly I See.
Yeah.
Jena, you're safe. You can head back to the lounge. Congratulations.
What did it do to your confidence, or did it make you feel like, I've got to step things up at this point?
I did Suddenly I See for a reason, and that was because I knew the next week I wanted to do Decode.
Okay.
I was gonna do Decode the week I did Suddenly I See, but then I figured the next week was the movie week, and that was on the list. That's the reason why I picked Suddenly I See, and I knew it was definitely a risk because I could have been kicked off or in the bottom 3 like I was, but I knew that it was gonna make the next week look that much better.
Did you think about, like, I want to give you up-tempo one week and not give you the same mood the next week?
I did a lot because I could sing ballads and dark stuff all the time. That's just me, but
Right.
but that's not what America wants to hear every single week because
Yeah.
then you kind of look depressing.
Tell me about Decode, because that seemed to be the week you hit your stride. And also, when you sang it at the finale, it was so good with just you
you.
at the piano.
Not this time.
I remember playing it with my band at every show that I did, and it was just everyone's favorite song that we sang. And obviously, Paramore is my favorite band, but not only because I admire their sound, but their lyrics and the feel of the song.
Oh, you should love yourself.
It's always been me and my mom's favorite song that I do together. And I wanted the band to be incorporated in, but I also wanted to show the piano too, because that's my strong suit.
So speaking of risks and sudden shifts, we get Clarity in top 10 week. Put your glow sticks up.
Yeah. The first time I heard the band do it, it wasn't exactly how I wanted it. So I was like, we need to change it.
What was it like when you first heard it?
It was
How
just, it
different?
was cheesy, to be
Okay.
honest. It sounded like a karaoke version. I'm like, we can't have this, especially when I was in the studio. Because this is definitely another genre of music that I do want to tap into as, you know, my career hopefully is progressing along.
You didn't want like an 80s Casio
No,
kind of.
I was just,
You're right.
I was like, no, that just doesn't sound right to me. I wanted to do it, I just wanted to make it sound a little bit more like me, and then by adding the glow sticks, that wasn't my idea, by the way. I have to give credit to the stage coach, and she's amazing for it because it stuck for the whole season.
And you worked the stage, and a lot of people were glued to one spot this season. Did you feel like this could give me an edge if I work that room?
To be honest, that week I really had to try. They had to push me a lot. The stage coach was like, you can't wear those pants if you don't work the stage. Those pants are gonna wear you if you don't work the stage. I was like, oh, and that scared me, and it got me like, so she videotaped me in rehearsal. I was like, oh, okay, I know exactly what to do now.
If our love is tragedy, why are you my remedy?
Rolling in the Deep in top 8 week, where did that arrangement come from?
It took me a couple days for me and Ricky to kind of come up with just a general feeling of the song, and to make it that halftime feel that I was chugging through the whole time.
Don't underestimate the things that I will do.
It could have been like a hit or miss. First time I heard it in rehearsal and changed the melodies of the song, I knew it had to build up to something.
We could have thought it all.
So that last chorus, I just totally changed.
And you played it, and you played it.
I knew, like, especially with the feel of like the lights and what I was gonna wear, even down to like the makeup and hair, it was just all a part of how the performance either was gonna be a success or a failure.
To the beat.
I love rock and roll. I really liked what you did at the beginning with the piano.
Put another dime in the jukebox, baby.
I kind of thought it was cool. You did not get the best feedback that
No,
week
I didn't.
at all.
For me, it languished a little bit in the middle. When you got to the yeah me, I thought you were going to start ramping it up.
And you started to get some blogosphere criticism like, Jena can tend to swallow her words when she's moving around on stage, or I can't hear some of her lower registers.
That week I did read a lot of the feedback, and ever since I got a lot of negativity, especially from a performance that I know wasn't my best, I just stopped reading it like altogether. Even though weeks afterwards I was just like, you know what, I'm not even gonna read it because I know it's bad and I know I could have done better,
Right.
so I don't need to read people saying cruel things about me. 80s week in general, if you don't listen to 80s music, it's just hard. It was hard for all of us. I mean, I know Sam was struggling, Alex was scared, I was scared, Caleb was perfect, but...
And is it a fairly short list of songs by the time you get to 80s week?
It is. I mean, you can request songs, but not many make it onto the list. So when I saw I Love Rock and Roll, I'm like, this song could be me if I make it me. And I think the fact that I started on the piano just made it me. It was an average performance, I would say, for me. And I knew that going into it, and I think one of the things that could have made it better was me having a really positive attitude towards the whole thing.
Let's talk about Creep, though. I think it was one of the big breakout moments of the season for you.
I fought to play that for about 5 weeks, then production finally let me do it.
But I'm a creep,
You guys will not regret it. It's gonna be good, and it ended up being good.
and I'm a weirdo.
What was the opposition to it?
I think the fact, especially with Randy, had a hard time with "I don't belong here," but it's not. I'm not singing about the competition. I'm singing about me.
I don't belong here.
It was good. I think it's still on the charts. So
Yeah. What was that like to wake up and see it?
I was freaking out because I look at Alex's stuff all the time, and he charts all the time. So that was the first song where it really took off for me. So I was like, oh, that's so cool.
The crucial top 5 week, you did Valerie. The judges did not love your rearrangement of the song. I thought it was really cool
Thank you.
that you tried to do something different with it.
Won't you come on over? I stop making a fool out of me.
I wanted to do that same feel, but with more of a rock version and make it minor instead of major. And I ended up playing it in rehearsal and it didn't work out. So I was like, okay, well, why don't we do the horns?
Come on over, Valerie.
We tried that and it worked out, and it was just, it fit the song and it fit the mood of the performance.
That was also the week where you did My Body.
Not many people knew that song, and I think that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do it so bad, is because it's such a great song that not many people know about.
Do you feel like that could be the kind of record you would make in the
Yes.
real world, especially like the studio version that came out?
Yeah, exactly like what I want my sound to be like, especially that mixed with a little electronic.
We had our special results twist top 5 week, which I'm sure all of you contestants really loved.
No.
Yes, keep the group together. Or no, send someone home tonight.
And you voted no, which I kind of loved.
And the 5th one is also a no. Send someone home tonight.
Results should stand as they are, but I was sure everyone was going to say yes out of fear. And not only did you vote no, but you admitted to voting no openly.
Yeah, I did. I stick to what I voted. I mean, the show itself is based on having America vote people out, not us. And I was getting so much hate. Me and Alex were getting so much hate for saying no. I'm like, you guys were the ones who voted Sam out.
Right.
We just said no. We just want to get this thing moving because it screws with your head to compete in a competition for like a year. So I mean, the fact that it was just going really slow, I was just like, let's just go. Whoever's meant to go is meant to go.
And it could have been you. I mean,
Exactly,
you
it
were a
could have
wild
been
card.
me.
You'd already been sort of
Exactly.
cut by America once before, so it wasn't completely out of the realm of possibility.
Exactly.
Can't Help Falling in Love, to me, was the best musical moment of the season.
Thank you.
You know it was, right?
Well,
Deep
but
down.
to hear it from you, that's so awesome.
Some things are meant to be.
There were people who were like, she should credit Ingrid Michaelson because she did a version of it.
No,
and
I did do her version.
Yeah.
To be honest, I love Ingrid Michaelson, and I loved her version of Creep as well, but it just wasn't me. But I did do her version, and I just made it a little bit more dramatic for the Idol stage, and it worked out because she's amazing, and I actually got to open up for her a couple years ago with my band, and she's such a down-to-earth person, so the fact that I got to do her version of the song, I'm so honored.
In love with you, 'cause I
2 weeks later, someone else sang it on another reality singing competition, and Keith even was like,
You did this song 2 weeks ago. It was so good, you inspired somebody else to do it.
I actually was not aware until I got home from the rehearsal for the next week, and I was like, oh. And I didn't even know, I wasn't even gonna go on and watch The Voice, but I was getting a lot of Twitter messages, and I'm like, oh.
and you'd already planned to repeat it for finale because
Yeah.
she'd only performed it 2 days
Right,
before you
exactly.
did it again.
So I'm like, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna perform it in like 2 days, and she just performed it. This is so weird. But it ended up being great. I mean, she did amazing on it. I listened to her, and it sounded completely different. So props to her.
I thought one of your toughest performances of the season was Titanium.
you take your aim far away, far away.
Did it mess with your pitch to be like standing perched on this?
Just a little bit, yeah. Especially since that was my only my second time on there. I mean, the lift didn't come in until that morning, and I just went on that morning and said, all right, I'll try it.
For finale week, you got a single, We Are One, written by someone who used to be on American Idol, Felicia Barton.
Yeah.
One of the most robbed contestants in the history of Idol. How did you feel about the song when you got it?
The first time I heard it, I was with the label, and we were all in a room, and they were like, this is the song we think best suits you. And when I heard it, I was like, this is perfect. This is so perfect. I mean, maybe not just for my album, but to fit the moment of finale and the moment of where I am, at this stage of my career, it was perfect.
I see fire in your eyes, never felt so alive. I see the world.
So I said yes right away. And when I met the writers of the song, Felicia and Mitch Allen, they are amazing. I mean, and we just gelled together so well in the studio, and she's such an amazing writer. So it was fun to work with them.
I guess I don't know what sweet truth is to dance.
Did you feel coming out of that like you had a shot to win? And how much did you care about winning versus second place?
By the end of that song, because that was the last song I had played, I didn't care. I was like, you know what? I made it this far. I'm a wild card. I'm 17 years old. No matter what happens tomorrow, because me and Caleb are truly like best friends, I'm just going to be proud of myself no matter what happens. So I tried not to think about it too much.
Finale night, performing with Paramore, I thought was one of the coolest moments of the show, although those stupid balls kind of got in the way of seeing the performance. Did you watch it back? Were you like...
I did. I was like, whoa, you can't see us. No, it was definitely, I mean, rehearsing and like looking up in the ceiling, because I was watching them load them in. I'm like, how many balls are there? They were like 500. I'm like, holy crap. They were heavy too. I thought they were just gonna be balloons and they'll bounce off each other. Nope, they were hitting me in the face, and Haley was like, oh, like during the performance.
Last question for you. You can blink twice if the answer is yes. Have you already been signed by Interscope? And what kind of album are you envisioning?
As of right now, I'm on hold. I mean, that's the prize of the winner, is that they automatically get a deal. But I love everyone there, so I'm extremely excited to see what happens. But in terms of my album, I don't exactly know what it's going to sound like. There's going to be a lot of different dynamics to the album, which I'm really excited about, and the fact that it's going to be me instead of me singing somebody else's songs is just going to be a completely different element. Kind of everything that I've done on the show, I'll put together into one, like the major stuff like Creep and Decode and Clarity, and a lot of dirtier stuff too. I know there's not dirtier in terms of like lyrics, but like the sound of like, I didn't mean it like that.
I was just going to ask you to clarify. I was like, I think you mean musically, right?
Musically, yeah, it's definitely just very intense, especially with drops and stuff and house music. I am obsessed with house music, so I'd love to work with people like Zed and stuff like that.
We give out 1 bouquet per season.
Thank
This
you
is
so
for you.
much.
You rocked it. You were definitely a favorite of Reality Check, and the season would not have been the same without you.
Thank you so
you have to
much.
have it.
You were the best ever. Thank you.
I just can't believe it's you. Oh, honey.